You are listening to the I Am Real Estate Show with Ray, Sandra, Danielle, and we have our great lender from Inspired Life Mortgage, who's John Spurr, who is the CEO. And I'll have Danielle ask the most important question we've been waiting to ask John.
Is now a good time to buy a house?
It's always a good time to buy a house.
Okay, that's the end of the show. Okay, well, see you next week.
Well, that was quick. We still got 8 minutes and 50 seconds. What are we going to do now? Yes, it is always a great time to buy a house, in my opinion. You guys have heard me say this time and time again. The richest families in the country made their money on steel, oil, or real estate. And we don't have steel here and we don't have oil here. But we got land and we have real estate. The way I look at it, and not because I'm trying to sell houses or sell a mortgage, if you can afford the payment, regardless of what rates are today, invest in yourself. Stop investing in your landlord. You guys have heard me say it time and time again. If you're renting, your interest rate's 100%. So, I mean, 7.5 is a lot lower than 100% rate. But there's other things we've talked about that people don't realize is, the equity you're going to gain in the property by owning real estate, and then the fact that you're paying the principal balance down. And that's where I think Sandra said it. I've said it. A lot of agents say there's a cost of waiting.
There is a huge cost sometimes.
I don't know. What are we thinking? 3% appreciation this year?
I think so. I think that's the number that I've seen recently.
On a $300,000 home, if you bought it in January, in theory, by December, it's worth $309,000, right? And if you buy a $300,000 home, put your 3.5% down, you're going to be paying about $180 to $190 a month that first year towards your principal. So there's another $1,400. So in 1 year, if you didn't buy at the beginning of January, by December, you've left about $14,000 on the table in 1 year. And I've had people who've been waiting around for 2 and 3 because, home values are going to drop.
And the thing is, I like to remind people that it's a team process to getting that done. You have your lender, you have your real estate agent together trying to make sure you get what you want and trying to provide the seller and everyone, the seller and the buyer with a win-win situation. So it's all about you making that decision to get off the fence and come see what we're talking about and come see if we're right. I mean, when we sit there and look at the numbers and we get you in front of the lender, and then we go and find you something, and then a year later you can come back on the show and say, hey, that didn't work for me, but I guarantee you'll be like, oh yeah, I did. I'm glad I did that, because I don't think anybody who went through this process said, I'm sad I did that when they.
I was going to say, I feel really lucky that we've been in the industry at the time that we have, because we have seen so many people that have improved their financial health through home ownership, whether they were a short-term, buying just because they needed a place to live and they liked what they could buy better than what they could rent, or people that have maybe, sold their dream home to be able to retire because that was an option that they had and their life changed. We have just seen some of the biggest blessings to people's lives through the ownership of real estate. And I think it's a great thing.
There's a really simple piece to it. I mean, think of the number of people we put in houses in 2020, 2021 that were renters. But rent hadn't skyrocketed yet. But we put them into a house in a 30-year fix, and we fixed that payment. But just one more benefit to owning a home, right, is it fixed your living expenses. In 6 months, people are still going to be raising rents. And they're going to continue to raise rents.
I have a plan.
Wait. Raise hands in the air. Hold on. Everybody stop.
I have a plan. What if we get all the people who bought that we sold houses to in the 2 years to go around talking to rental people and tell them, this is what I did. Look how much money I've made in 2 years. I was you 2 years ago, and now I'm here. But we said, let's go to all the rental places and have our clients sit there and just hold up a sign. I used to be that. Now I have this.
It sounds like a great plan, Ray. I
understand.
We
support you 100%.
I mean, I understand 2/3 of your day you don't do anything, so you just found something to do.
Ouch.
That's a big part of it too, is as people are renting, they're looking at it as, well, this year I think I can afford this payment, and so they're getting into a place that they can afford. And what I'm seeing a lot is people that are saying, I can't afford this now that the rent has gone up, so now I have to move into something else. and they're having to move into something that's a little bit smaller that doesn't meet their needs as well. And then, I mean, you know, the next year it may be happening again where now they're moving down again. When you buy your first home, it doesn't have to be that dream home. It's a home that is going to meet your needs enough, you know, just like when you're getting an apartment, it's something that's going to meet your needs enough, but it allows you to save up money and to save that equity in the home so that when you're in a position where you need to move up, you can. It gives you that power.
Let's simplify this. There's a reason we have the term first-time home buyer, because you end up buying a second one and a third one and a fourth one, which means your first home is not your forever home. It's, as you said, a stepping stone, right? It's a tool that you're going to live in for 3 to 5 years, get some appreciation, pay the principal balance down, and then take that money and wrap it into the next house. I mean, good grief. I'm finally in the house that, you guys have heard us say they're going to take us out of this thing in a hearse. But I mean, I've owned homes for 30 years. This is the 7th or 8th house that is my primary residence. It took that long to get to the one that was the dream home.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. And my thing was that the first step in home ownership is you. It's going to the lender and understanding what your buying power is. And you just have to take that step. And it's a little step. And it's only a 5-10 minute conversation with you to see where you stand. If we had to go dig deeper in it, you're willing to go and do that. But at least you know from the first step.
I think the other part that's important about this process, and I think a lot of people don't understand this, is none of us in this room get paid until you have the keys to your house. I don't make anything up front. I don't charge anything up front. All of these conversations and everything, there's no cost until we get the loan closed. You guys don't make anything. You know, the first expense is paying for the appraisal, at which point you're under contract, right? So it's not a cost for you to come and have a conversation.
Right.
And a lot of times we'll be working with clients and they'll say, well, we don't want to waste your time. And they don't understand that it's not a waste of our time, that it's part of the process. It may be a 2-week process to find a house. It may be 6 months. It may be that 2 years. And we're there for the long haul. And so we just want to get the process started. Until you understand where you're at, you can't move forward.
We just recorded today on a transaction for some individuals who are buying a second home out here, eventually be their retirement home. 9 months. 9 months ago is when I took their initial application, that they made 20-something offers on properties.
Wow.
That's the process sometimes. That's not the process every time, but I never think of it as a waste of time, because I look at this as an opportunity, as you said, to help somebody's financial situation and put them in a home. And if that means it's a 2-year journey to get you where you're a homeowner, then it's a 2-year journey. If it's 30 days, great. It was easier for me. But it's never a waste of time to start the conversation.
I see a lot of people too that will say they have really low credit, and instead of making the decision to then start working on their credit to have something better later by talking to a professional, they kind of take on this, I have bad credit and I'm always going to have bad credit. And all it takes is understanding what you can do with what you have now and then making that plan and moving forward. And so that first phone call is the call to John. How can I improve my credit?
Yeah, we're going to take
making the plan.
John, we're going to take a break right now, and then we're going to talk about bad credit and how you can help people with their bad credit. I think they need to know that there is a process and there is someone there who's on their team. You're here with the I Am Real Estate Show on 1030 AM The Voice. We'll be back with more of the show in a second or two.